People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Welcome to the What's Left podcast on the Derealization Nation Media Network.
I can't afford Mountain Dew! Okay? The economy's rough right now! Obama!
Miners, I love miners.
And now, your hosts.
That's us. It's John, Jake, and Brad, Derealization Nation Media Network. It's us, it's you. We are the nation on the What's Left podcast, the punk rock garage band podcast, adding our voice to resistance loud as we can. Guys, we got so much to do today. We have, in a separate video, we're going to have an interview with Karen Ortiz, progressive candidate out of New York's 12th district, the most crowded primary possibly in history. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. First, we're going to talk about Epstein. We're going to talk about Israel. We've even got a little update from Sasha Barros himself on Threads today. So we just got a lot to get to. We're going to start. I don't want to rehash this too much because this is what everybody else is doing. So you've already seen probably all the videos of Pam Bondi being an absolute cunt in Congress, just refusing basically to answer any questions. And getting an assist from Jim Jordan, whose job it is to, facilitate this thing. He's the chairman of the judiciary, even though he's not a lawyer. So you tell me why you think he's in that position, and I'll tell you it's because he covers up for pedophiles. Because he was there on wherever in that fucking ranch where he beat the shit out of Sasha Riley. So, but anyway, he didn't reel this bitch in, and this is a supercut from MS Now, the Republican light media network.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get, you're a failed politician.
Not a complicated question.
I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged. Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again.
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump, all of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump? Nothing about helping crime in her district. She's not even worth getting into the details. Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, and I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me anything.
I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Arlen,
you don't get a reclaimed time when you don't, when I don't answer a question the way you want. Only 2 people voted against it, and you were one of them, hypocrite.
But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify.
Just fucking crazy. Pammy Joe out there doing her absolute worst.
I hope that when she ultimately ends up in prison for all this, that she just watches the TV and sees the victims standing behind her with their hands up and her not acknowledging them. I hope that's the picture they play. I hope that's the picture that goes down in infamy of Pam Bondi.
Yeah, I think it will.
She is a scumbag. Jim Jordan let it go, obviously, because she's protecting him the same way she's protecting everyone in the files. And she would look to him for help when they'd be like, hey, just answer a question. And then she would just look to Jim Jordan like, buddy, help me. I'm all out of insults. I'm all out of scripted insults.
Oh, clearly scripted insults. She has the burn book. So the ways in which Jim Jordan helped her out, without getting too far into the weeds of Congress, basically she's there to answer questions. Each representative has an allotted amount of time. They are allowed to stop the witness anytime that they choose. They ask the question. The witness must answer the question. The witness is not supposed to pontificate or filibuster the time away, which is what Pam Bondi was doing. But she got the assist from Jordan, especially with Massey, which was crazy. He was like, let the attorney general answer the question. That's not how this works. The time belongs to Thomas Massey, and whatever he wants to hear her say or do is what he is allowed to do. He is allowed to start and stop that time. He is allowed to interrupt her. He is allowed to stop her. He is allowed to reclaim his time when she goes off on a fucking tangent. And Jamie Raskin reminded her that over and over again. But Jim Jordan, over and over again, uh, went against the rules and allowed her to do whatever she wanted to do. So he didn't just allow her, he actively broke the rules to let her be a maniac and to help her to avoid answering any substantive questions.
The thing that stuck the most with the general public is nonsense and completely unrelated to the case in itself. Like the line that everybody hears is the stock market, the Dow is at 50K. Like,
Jake, did you even know the stock market was at 50K, or did your derangement syndrome not allow you to even see that?
But that's like what everybody remembers. It's irrelevant to the case at hand. It is irrelevant to the situation at hand.
Yeah.
The stock market is irrelevant to the situation at hand. And that's what everybody remembers because she's just bullshitting.
It's not just irrelevant, Brad. It's like tasteless. It's like trashy, trailer park trashy to even bring it the fuck up. Who would even think that that's appropriate?
It's like that's her justification. Like, well, I know that we're not doing anything for these victims, but the stock market is at an all-time high. So, give and take, people. Give and take.
You have to remember that, like, she and her Justice Department released photos, pornographic images of these children when they were children, released social security numbers, full IDs, unredacted, and not all the survive, and not all of just the ones who have stepped forward. I mean, it was a clear intimidation tactic, and at one point she jumped script and said that Ghislaine Maxwell belonged in prison, and Ghislaine Maxwell came out with a statement immediately on a social media account that her family runs, and reminded the president, who's really running the show, and called out Pam Bondi for her actions. And she's right. Like, Pam Bondi should not be prejudiced, should not be throwing out around things like that, but should also be sentenced. She also should have been sentenced to life for being the monster that she is. She was definitely under sentenced as well.
Oh, I don't understand how it's not the end of your life.
Yeah.
I really don't think that there should be no, it shouldn't be prison time. Prison's not severe enough. And obviously prison's not a fucking walk in the park. I mean, it is for her right now. It's an absolute walk in the park, getting manicures and shit with a dog. But the only person held accountable at all is her. And the accountability is disgusting, and it's being lessened every day.
Yeah. Brad, is the Dow still at 50,000?
The Dow is not at 50,000. It fell over a point today because we don't have a topic on the economy, but they revised the job numbers for last year, and 585,000 jobs is what they said they added last year, which was the worst in decades. It's actually now been revised down to 180,000 jobs. 180,000 jobs for the fucking year. So this little January we added 105,000. I like to call bullshit. Right now,
yeah, for
go ahead
sure.
and revise that down by 80,000 next month or whenever they do it, and then but it'll pump the stock market right now on false number bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, that's not what we're here for. But no, the stock market, the Dow Jones is not at 50K today.
Yeah. And the person she accused of having Trump derangement syndrome later voted to pass the SAVE Act, which is something else which is basically, to take away the rights of women to vote. So Thomas Massey believes in women's rights to not be raped as children, which is great, but he does not believe in the right to vote or protect them otherwise.
Yes. Please understand. I'm so glad you brought this up because it was going to be my closer for this episode. But the SAVE Act is unconstitutional. The SAVE Act goes against the 24th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. There will be no poll tax. Requiring you to have alternate forms of ID that cost you money in order to vote is a poll tax. It is a poll tax. It is unconstitutional. Anybody that is in agreement with this is working against the Constitution of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm. If you're super concerned, you can make all IDs free.
That's the only acceptable answer to voter ID is if it is all free.
Free and available on the day of voting.
Yep.
All right. Jake, any thoughts on the victims who got dissed in that hearing and just the bullshit that is Pam Bondi?
Anyone that is covering all this up, clap if you think they should suffer. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just
They're
gone
all better
way too
people than
far.
me.
Yeah.
It's too far. To have them all there, once again, having to stand up, show themselves, do more, is just disrespectful at this point.
Over and over again.
Over and over and over again. For nothing to happen. Not even people being pulled in to be questioned.
Right.
They're all better people than me because not one of them called her a weird bitch while they were in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
there's no way. You know what I mean? They're all better people than I am.
Yeah, I probably would have jumped her, to be honest. I don't think I could have put up with that for the entire hearing, that's for sure. Like that thing was long as fuck. And just crazy. Anyway, so Democrats will be holding a press conference / hearing with victims in Palm Beach, Florida, April 14th. And also, so the Sasha news is that Sasha Barros announced on Threads today that he has been in touch with members of Congress, and they are working out the logistics of bringing him in to the fold as well. So we're actually getting movement on having him added to the list of mainstream victims, which is just huge. And this is because of people like you guys who are out there sharing this stuff, believing this stuff, listening to victims, and making this happen. And I think that is just, and you know, it cannot be overstated how brave these survivors are for doing this. Like it's crazy and moving. So as far as I'm concerned, for us, it's the least we can do to talk about it.
Sasha's story should be the nail in the coffin for all of this. We've seen the story, we've heard the story, we've read the story, and now we're finding out names of people in these files that directly correlate with Sasha's story. So for them to bring this out, it should be the nail in the coffin for anybody with a rational brain thought. But there are still 30% of Americans that support Donald Trump.
Do not have rational brain thoughts.
Who do not have rational brain thoughts. And they're immediately going to say, well, why didn't Sasha come forward? Such and such. Why now? I already encountered that today. I was like, nobody let you around children, bro. What the fuck are you saying to me?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's good that they're eliminating the statute of limitations on these things because oftentimes too, your brain represses extreme traumatic incidents like that to keep you from killing yourself. All right, so we have here just to remind us, this is what is going on. Speaking of things that are like kind of are fundamental to Sasha's story, you're starting to see, like, if you look at some of the business records people are putting together further and further back in time, which is when Sasha's story starts, further back in time. And this Zorro Ranch is a key piece to everything. This place was never, ever investigated. So much of this was never investigated, and this bothers me so much, especially when you see emails like this from a fucking scientist, apparently, with the subject of designer babies. And a link. This is, Jeffrey, here is a deck about my designer baby project. I have talked with Austin again, and we have a series of questions about how serious you are about wanting this. And the ground rules are for me exploring this with you and getting to next steps. Most of the questions are around requirements for secrecy and privacy, specifically regarding reputational risk and any financial involvement. I think there would also need to be some understanding about goals and feasibility of different results. I think the one way this can be done is under the banner of Designer Babies Project, since the other deliverable is similar and shares so many of the same procedures and lab requirements. This might offer a sufficient level of deniability. Excuse me, what? I propose another call on Monday, yada, yada. Please propose a time. Austin Hill. Carbon copied on this. This sick fuck's name is Brian Bishop. I mean, you see shit like this, you know that there's bodies buried on his golf course. There's a tip that bodies are buried on his golf course. A tip that bodies are buried in the hills outside of Zorro Ranch. And you get this idea from TV that there's just this group of people whose job it is to like get the helicopter and the LiDAR and the fucking dog squad, and they go out and they find these cadavers when you get a tip like that. Or at least check, right? Dogs need walked anyway. Take them out for some exercise. But no, this doesn't exist. Criminal Minds isn't real. Law and Order SVU isn't real. What really happens, apparently, is nothing. Nothing. That fucking bothers me.
I want to know what Designer Baby, like what this is. I would love to see that actual PDF.
You know it's all fucking eugenics. It's all the same shit that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are into. Like, this is the kind of shit that these sick fucks, these sick weirdos are all into. Like, this is what they're doing, and that Zorro Ranch is the key piece to that. And you have Ehud Barak, the kind of Zionist that believes, that is afraid of being a one state where the Israeli people would be outnumbered by Palestinians. So genetics and bringing it, like, these things are super important to the Zionist project, because they do not want to be in a minority in their own country. So they're desperate to get there, or I guess just murder everybody until they're even Stevens. It's
one of these two is going to prevail for them. Those are their two options. And
right. A little bit of both.
Works they're cool with. Yeah, they don't care how it goes, but it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other ideas are like their ties to Russia are because they're okay with Russian immigrants. So they bring in Russian immigrants and that are willing to convert to Judaism. Yeah, I mean, it's literally all insane stuff, and it's all connected to Epstein. We got more though, and this. So let's go to this one. Go ahead. Somebody else take this one.
Yep. A woman is suing the billionaire investor Leon Black, accusing him of raping her at Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan townhouse when she was 16 years old. The lawsuit describes in gruesome detail the woman's account of a sexual assault that left her bleeding and sobbing. Her lawyers say that the woman, identified as Jane Doe, has autism and a rare form of Down syndrome that has left her developmentally about 12 years old.
Jesus fucking Christ. This man is super close with Trump. Super close. So, Jake, you can take the next one for us, please. These two are linked. So, we talked about how Epstein owned justice. Here's another billionaire sicko.
School picture day because of a wave of concerned parents who don't trust the school photo company LifeTouch after they've been tied to Epstein's via billionaire Leon Black. Picture day canceled over Epstein's rumor. I feel sick. My school just announced that picture day is canceled tomorrow. Apparently, there's been a huge wave of concerned parents claiming LifeTouch is mentioned in Epstein files. The school says they're canceling and having lawyers review the contract. I'm not really one of the conspiracy theories, but the idea that someone like that could have access to school photos nationwide, honestly disturbing. It makes you think about how Epstein identified and targeted vulnerable kids/families, especially in rural or low-income communities.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. To tie it all together, this is a picture from the files of Epstein with what is clearly a child at the table. And in the background on that chalkboard, that is a picture of the West Bank. That is a picture of the Greater Israel Project. A conspiracy theory inside of a conspiracy theory that is no longer a theory. Two conspiracy theories becoming fact in one picture. That is the Greater Israel Project and the architect of the West Bank project sitting together with a child. Like the person in that thing said, like, you don't want to be one to like be for conspiracy theories or whatever. That's what you've been told. But at this point, what can you not believe?
We did the conspiracy theory episode where it was on conspiracy theorist, and the term was used to basically tell people to stop critically thinking.
Yeah.
And now, like, honestly, this is worse than I think anyone imagined, right? It has to be.
I hope
I
so.
mean, I would, yeah, I didn't think that we would be finding out some of the things we're finding out. That's for certain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I have to admit myself being guilty of like thinking that the reasonable details of like Trump being a rapist, Epstein being a rapist, probably several other rapists being involved in this was probably I didn't believe like because Pizzagate and all that, like I didn't believe that stuff. You debunk one thing and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, we'll just throw the rest out too. But Epstein didn't kill himself. The FBI files pretty much say exactly that. You know, missing tapes, lack of investigations. It's all there and then some. It's stuff you didn't even order.
They are untouchable.
Yeah. Yep.
And we got Pam Bondi talking about the fucking stock market.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable bullshit. All right, so while we're into the Greater Israel Project, let's talk about what Israel has been up to since Netanyahu made yet another fucking trip to the United States of America without being arrested. This motherfucker is here like every other goddamn day. But I guess, when you're running a country, you want to like at least make sure you check it out every now and again.
That's true. He's got to come check on his investment.
So this from our illustrious leader, since released a statement on one of these social media websites. I've just finished a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. Got to remind everybody he's not at the United States. Sometimes people get confused. And various of his representatives. It was a very good meeting, and the tremendous relationship between our countries continues. There is nothing definitive reached other than I insisted that negotiations with Iran continue to see whether or not a deal can be consummated. If it can, I let Prime Minister know that it will be a preference. If it cannot, we'll just have to see what the outcome will be. Last time, Iran decided they were better off not making a deal, and they were hit with midnight hammer. That did not work well for them. Hopefully, this time they will be reasonable and responsible. Additionally, we discussed the tremendous progress being made in Gaza and the region in general. There is truly peace in the Middle East. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I want you to remember that part where he said there is truly peace in the Middle East.
Gaza is rubble. They did not hold a presser today, and Donald Trump loves to show off.
Yeah.
So the fact that they didn't even like pander to the crowd of all 12% of America that still agrees with Israel.
Yeah. Yeah. You think that has something to do with it?
Weird.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing this. We don't really give a shit now. Like,
yeah,
obviously the rules are gone. We just do whatever we want.
Yeah. Right. And clearly there'll be war with Iran very soon. So, yeah. Well, this Netanyahu was here to sign on to the Board of Peace. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu officially signed on today during a meeting with Marco Rubio. The board has no Palestinians on it. So once again, just like at the creation of Israel, there is no Palestinians involved in their future. So that's why like it's so disingenuous to hear people talk about a two-state solution because they don't even talk to the majority of the people who live in that area at all. They don't include them in any negotiations. They just decide what's best for them. But Hamas official Mahmoud Mardawi wrote on X that Netanyahu's appointment reinforces doubts, deepens the lack of trust, rewards policies of extermination and repression instead of holding them accountable. Yeah. I mean, Hamas is the reasonable sounding one there, and I don't give a fuck what you say about that. All right. Who wants to read about the peace in the Middle East?
Sure. I'm missing the very top of this one, though.
This just says from Gaza and across the strip.
Okay. Injured by Israeli fire while inside their tents in Al Masala area, south of Khan Yunis, according to Al Arabi TV. Israeli aircraft carried out an airstrike on eastern areas of Khan Yunis city in the central Gaza Strip. 4 Palestinians were wounded by Israeli gunfire. A Palestinian man was killed by Israeli fire in the Tufa neighborhood of Gaza City, with reports of ambulances attempting to reach the wounded coming under fire. Casualty counts. Over the past 24 hours, the bodies of 4 Palestinians were recovered from under the rubble, while 5 Palestinians were injured in Israeli attacks in Gaza. The total record death toll since October 7th, 23, has risen to 72,049 killed, with 171,691 injured. Since October 11th, the first full day of the so-called ceasefire, Israel has killed at least 591 Palestinians in Gaza and wounded 1,582, while 724 bodies have been
recovered from the rubble.
Recovered from the rubble.
Sound like peace to anybody?
They are turning Gaza into a parking lot and expect us not to notice.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. And on top of all that, so this is not on top of all that. Every day, this is the same headline. 71,000 is or 72,000 now is the confirmed number that is accepted by both parties in this genocide. The real number is far, far higher. We're talking close to 1 million people have been exterminated in Gaza. Whole family is wiped out. They're using bombs that literally incinerate people. So we'll never know. We will never recover the total body number because we're using those bombs we talked about several months ago that literally just evaporate bodies. They suck the oxygen from the air and superheat it, and just you're gone. Violent trash.
That's what a ceasefire looks like to Israel.
Yeah, God forbid they should ever go back to actual war, what they consider war. All right. Meanwhile, back in our own country, in Minnesota, Tom Homan announced that it's over in Minnesota. They're pulling out, talking about it like it's a military action. We'll believe it if we see it. Until then, we're going to talk about ICE detention. Jake, you want to give the ICE detention photos, please?
So we're going to open up with the Sharon Watts on X. For the first time, over 70,000 people are in ICE detention. Over 7,000 of them have been in custody at least 6 months, including 79 people who have been held for over 2 years.
Jesus.
That's insanity. 6 months? I thought the plan was to deport. What do you...
We did think that. Unless, of course, you had, say, Peter Thiel and Palantir and several other billionaire corporations building detention centers all over the United States to hold people. And those detention centers wouldn't be profitable if you weren't holding people.
It's almost like it's the prison industrial complex.
Wow, you don't say. And, it's crazy because it takes them 6 months. None of these people are really here illegally. Like, they haven't been able to prove that any of them are here illegally. They let them back out eventually. So it's really just about incarcerating them, keeping a certain number of people, U.S. citizens, non-U.S. citizens, visa holders, non-visa holders. Doesn't matter. It's about hot bodies and cots. That's it. And it also includes way too fucking many children. Zionist Aaron Parnas scoops a declaration filed involving Whipple Detention Center in Minnesota alleges there was a stack of new car seats in the facility. Eyewitnesses have seen no children there. Sources tell me there are concerns ICE CBP is separating children from parents, holding children at a nearby hotel, and or trafficking children.
At the end of the hallway to the changing rooms and showers, there was a stack of car seats in new boxes. That's what it says.
Fucking insane. What the fuck are we doing?
And these people have no voice.
Yeah. No.
No one's going to listen to them if their kid is taken.
If the Epstein files has taught us anything, it's that not only are they not going to listen to them, they will not listen to the children, should they ever be recovered or anything like that. Let's start with, I got two little videos to watch on this one. Let's do this one first. They're both, it's just horrifying.
This is Ariana. She's 14 years old, detained for 45 days. Since I got to this center, all I feel is sadness and mostly depression. This is Mia, 7 years old. I don't want to be in this place. I want to go to my school. This is Scarlett, 17 years old. I feel very bored and overwhelmed because I am locked up. This is Gabby, 14 years old. I feel so much sadness and depression of not being able to leave. This is Maria, 9 years old. Me and Dilly am not happy. Please get me out of here. This is a 12-year-old. Going to the doctor, and the only thing they tell me is drink more water. The water here is what makes people sick. And this one got me, Mr. Lyons, because this is a 5-year-old. Luis Annie. My son's 5. He can't write many words, but he can communicate through drawings like this. This is a picture of Luis Annie's family. And you might be able to see that none of the faces are smiling.
Liam Ramos was 5 years old as well. Him and his father were released thanks to a lot of public pressure, but that's not even the youngest person in detention in Dilley, Texas. The youngest person in detention in Dilley, Texas is 2 years old.
As a parent, this is like heartbreaking. I would kill about my child. I would kill you today to protect my child. And the fact that these people haven't yet shows a level of restraint that I don't have.
Yeah.
But if you try to kidnap my kid, I would kill you.
Yeah, it really just flies in the face of the idea that these people are violent or aggressive, or they're not. They're just not.
I promise I would end you.
Yeah. These are all people who most of the people they get are from they go into schools, they go into churches, they go into courtrooms. These are people who are doing things the right way. They're not finding criminals because these guys are fat and fucking lazy and they don't want to go chase real criminals. And real criminals get caught by police. That's why we fucking pay them, and they're in prisons, and then ICE goes and picks them up after they're in custody. They don't actually do anything. And Pam Bondi was over there trying to like talk about all 6 of the people that they've arrested with an actual criminal record in that hearing, as though those 6 immigrants out of the, whatever number of people who are here, working and living and making our communities better, are more important than every single billionaire being in some sort of fucking weird club where they fucking where they rape kids and fucking eat them maybe and do genetic testing and just all of the sickest shit in the world. Like one instance of a murder, she talked about a city called Culver City that had 0 murders last year. She said, you don't even want to talk about the crime in your city, in Culver City. Culver City didn't even have a murder. This woman is distracting from some of the sickest shit in the world, and it's all because they're fucking billionaires. And these people, these are the real people suffering for that. The real children suffering for that. But that is right on fucking brand. You would have to be the Epstein regime to do something like this to children. You would have to be okay with Epstein. That's what that's what's starting to be clear. Like, these people are not just, they're not just covering it up. They're okay with it. You know, they're not covering up something that disgusts them. They're covering up something that they're okay with.
Yeah, if you're willing to cover it up, you are consenting to what you're witnessing.
Yeah.
Chris Murphy said, I sat with the kids for an hour. They were alive on the outside. They were dead on the inside. They stared straight ahead. They saw things in these prisons they'll never forget. The bottom line is we have a constitutional obligation to only fund an administration that's operating lawfully. We should not fund DHS if it is committing these crimes.
That's so true. And thankfully, the Senate did not pass the funding today.
And that brings us back to Tom Homan pulling out of Minneapolis, pulling out of Minnesota, because their plan now is to get brief extensions of funding, tone down the rhetoric, get people to agree to more funding, and then ramp it right back up. That's what's going to happen, because that's their plan. That's what they're going to do. They don't, like, they were completely cool with Americans being murdered in the streets for this. And now all of a sudden they're pulling out. It's almost like they realize how bad it looks to Americans. So if they can tone down the rhetoric, they can get more funding to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, we are out of time for this episode. We do have to go and prep for an interview. Don't miss that with Karen Ortiz. It's going to be a banger. She is running in New York's 12th district. We should mention, though, like, these things are connected, right? Like, if you're willing to allow and fund a genocide in Gaza, willing to allow someone like Jeffrey Epstein to run the world, if you're willing to, like, compromise on these things, it should be no surprise that things like ICE and ICE detention facilities exist here in this country either. It should be no surprise that we are surrounding and starving Cuba. It's a point that AOC made, who's actually been, kind of killing it lately. But yeah, this is why these things matter. This is why candidates like Karen Ortiz matter. It does matter what your candidate thinks of genocide. It does matter what your candidate thinks of starving Cuba. Like this, it matters what people think about what's happening in the Whipple building. In the Dilley Detention Center. These things matter. So, all right. Any final thoughts, guys? All right. Well, let's wrap it up. And so like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. You guys are the reason we're out in the algorithm. It's got nothing to do with the algorithm itself. Believe that. So thanks for making us a real thing. Thanks for pushing us out there. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Threads. Find us on TikTok, where we're being suppressed like a motherfucker all the time. But that's all right. I'm going to keep pushing anyway. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Brad.
And that's what's left.
The SAVE Act is unconstitutional. Stop giving up your rights to these fucking pedophile sympathizers.